In this video, it's been a while. I'm going to continue my journey into this application called KipTrak, which I covered on episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, so 0 up to 3. And last time I was working on the React datasheet grid to display some CSV files. Now I'm going to continue with a Redux Toolkit query. So on episode 1, I integrated Redux Toolkit query. So if I go back to my code, here's my project folder. And then inside the client folder where the frontend application lives, I will go to SRC and services. So this is what I created during that on that episode. I followed the Redux Toolkit website quick start guide, and I came up with this create slice, which creates a base query based on my API's URL, and then I get a nice hook. So I define the queries here, and then what I get back from this slice is this nice like hook, use get progress by week query, which corresponds to this endpoint. And then through that hook, I'm able like to access the API and get all the resources from the server. So this hook was used in the app.tsx. So I just use it here on my app.tsx component just to make sure that I'm getting something back. So as you can see, I import this as a hook. I use it, I provide some parameters here, and then I get back a data, error, and is loading object, and I can check whether I'm actually in the loading state, so I can display something. If an error has happened, I will display something different. And then if the data is ready and there is no error, then I will show the actual data. So the create slice allow me to have these nice hooks here, where I can query the API and I can get some resources. Now on this episode, I'm going to continue working with this application, and I'm going to add a few more queries and subsequently hooks, so that I can run some CRUD operations on this API. So CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. Right now I'm just getting some information depending on the week and day. Just to remind you, this is like querying some data, some CSV data. So we have these CSV files. Let me just they have certain entries for different weeks, and for each entry you have to you have your progress, you are tracking your progress, and you have some steps that you have to follow, and these are pretty much all there is to this service. Querying the CSV files and then provides the API, so we can actually read this information or update it through an API. So the CSV files are written and read by the API. Okay, so for this one I have like I want to share something that I do quite often. So I go and watch some videos. For example, I have this video that uses Redux Toolkit query to create some CRUD operations. And what I do is sometimes I just have enough time to go through the video, and I take screenshots. So I use a Chrome extension to grab screenshots from various times points in the video. And then at some point I can just go back, check these screenshots, and then actually recreate the code from the video, so I don't have to watch the video again. So I just grab some screenshots really quickly and really easily with a Chrome extension, and then I follow the tutorial some other point in time just by looking at the various screenshots, various code screenshots that I take. So I will just follow this this YouTube through the screenshots and try to recreate the various like CRUD operations with Redux Toolkit. So before going on and adding some new endpoints, I have this REST HTTP text file, which is using an extension called REST client. So there is this REST client, it's a VS Code extension, and what this extension does is it lets you create like a simple plain text file, and then you write some queries, some HTTP like query, like get an URL, and you can also supply some parameters. We have some post requests. You can also set some headers, and you can use this really nice syntax, you know, just the HTTP method, the URL, maybe some headers and some parameters, some query strings, and then all you have to do is just click these buttons that automatically are displayed above the HTTP methods. And once I run the server, you will see that we will get an output from this plain text file, which is pretty neat. So just to show you how it works. So first of all, I will have to before starting to work on my application. It's been a while. It's been quite a few weeks, to be honest. So I will just do a git pull to check whether there's anything new. So nothing new on the repository, and the only file that I changed, that I modified locally, is this HTTP file. Now, if it's been a while since you worked on a project, you're probably wondering how to start the project, how to start the server, how to start the client. So what I have done is I have created these scripts, bash terminal shortcut, short script that allows me to check just the scripts section of the package.json. So most of the projects that I'm working on are created using npm, so they're JavaScript projects, and most of the time we will find the script section in the package.json that has several scripts that you can use to run the application or the development server or the production build and so forth. So just to show you what I'm talking about, so we have this package.json, which has a lot of things, and the script section is this. So I have created this simple script in my terminal, and whenever I run it, it's called scripts. It just tries to find the package.json and then shows me just the available scripts, so that I can really quickly check the script section of the package.json and see how I can run the application. As you can see, there is a dev script at this point on the script section, which concurrently runs the two commands, npm run client and npm run server. So using just one command, the npm run dev, I can run both the server and the client. So this is how I can quickly launch my full stack application. And once this is running, you will see the server is running on the port 5000. The client is running on port 5173. I'm using Vite to bundle and work with the React application. The client application is a React application. And now if I go back to my REST HTTP file, I can actually hit these buttons and I can see that I have a hello message coming back from my hello endpoint, my API endpoint. You can see it's 200. Okay. Now we have these CSV files are accessed through this progress path. So the API has this /progress, and the service goes and reads these CSV files depending on the parameters and gives us back the response, the data in JSON. So the service also formats the CSV into JSON. So if I query the data for week 1 and day 1, you will see I get a JSON back with days and weeks and so forth. So there's a mistake here. I should be getting back week 1, day 1, not day 2. So in my data, there's probably some mistake here. So these columns, we have week and day, and this should be like just one. So week 1, day 1. Its CSV files is for a specific week and for specific date. So day 1, day 2, and they all should be all should look like this: week 1, day 2, week 1, day 3, and so forth. So just the CSV here. So let me just run this again. Yes, I will get the data in JSON format. I have quite a few GET requests that I'm checking here. So for example, when I pass only the week parameter, I get back all the days for the specific week. So I get days 1 to 5. And then I have some other options like check whether there is a draft. And then onwards here, I have a post request. So using this HTTP client, I can also supply a JSON object that I want to be posted as the HTTP body. And with this post request, I'm going to be creating a new file, a new CSV file for week 1, day 1. So before creating this file, before running this post, I will run the delete. So first I will send the delete command to delete progress week 1, day 1. So let me run this. Actual command not found. Wanted to execute the REST client. So there is a problem here. Let's see what's happening. So I'm supplying week 1, day 1. Let me run this again. Okay, there was some kind of error before. Now it's correctly being executed. So I get a message success. The file name that was deleted was progress week 1, day 1 CSVs. You can see it's gone from the folder. And now if I post with a JSON object that contains week 1, day 1 and some data, I will be getting back a new file right here. So the post will recreate this file. Let me check. And indeed I have this file recreated with all this content. It has like 2 rows, the data for 2 rows. So if I open up this file, we will see 2 rows. So this is the first entry. Setting up markdown, what's the blah 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 video, and this one. Okay, and then we have, of course, like a delete request, a put, which is going to replace the content that already exists for a particular day and week. So if I run this, it will override progress week 1, day 1 with this content. Unfortunately, we don't yet have a patch request, which is just patching, changing a small part in a particular resource. So this will override the specified content. And then we have like a test to get all the weeks. So this will bring me back the available weeks. So as you can see, I only have progress files for week 1. So I get back week 1. There's a slight problem. I get this file back. So this is something that we need to fix on the backend. We shouldn't be getting this is a file system for Mac operating system. So I should be getting just week 1. So let me just keep a note that they should be fixed. So I will go here and create an issue on GitHub API get available weeks. Gives me back the DS store. So what I will do after this this development process, I will go to my GitHub, to the GitHub repository for the project, and I will definitely need to open an issue because this should be fixed on the backend, on the service that reads the folders and gives me back this response like this is not required. Okay. So I have this this put, this delete, and this post request, and I already have a get request, a hook for the which gives me back reads and gives me back the weeks. Now I need to add some other endpoints for deleting, posting, and putting like the data. So I will go through this screenshot for the video to help me like understand how I can add some additional endpoints. So I've taken a few screenshots. So this one is a screenshot that shows me the dependencies that were installed during this project. Then there was this screenshot. This was a to-do app, and initially it was like a simple form with simple React state, so there was no Redux. So there was a simple state for adding a new to-do. And then the author started creating this slice. They used the createApi method to create the endpoints and then create the queries. I am using the createApi here also. So I'm all set up. I followed the official Redux Toolkit guide. And then in this video, they're using the API provider. I'm not using, and I'm not going to use the API provider with this Redux Toolkit because I'm already using Redux Store. The documentation mentions that if you're already using Redux Store with a provider, you don't need an additional API provider. So just to show you what I'm talking about, if I go to my client and my main TSX, I'm already using the React Redux provider, so there's no need for this extra API provider if we're already using a Redux store, and then that's okay. Then some things, they're importing this hook and they're replacing the state with this hook, and they're doing the loading stuff. So pretty much now here's a screenshot that will help me continue my journey. So at this point they already have a get endpoint and they're doing this post request. So I also have a post request, so I'm just going to follow this guide and create my own mutation, as they are called, to post requests. So let me go here to my progress. So here's the endpoints. Here's where we add these endpoints. So the endpoints, and in here I will just add some comments. So get this is get progress by week, and then I'm going to fold this section, and I need another one which is like post or let's say create progress, or I would say create weekly progress. So I'm going to create another endpoint, so post weekly progress, some comments that will help me. Now let me go back here. So I need to use this builder mutation. The nice thing about this preview on Mac is that when there's some text on an image, you can actually highlight and select the text. So I can grab this, I can copy, Control-C, and then come here and, copy and paste this. But I will just follow the slowly follow the screenshot code. Okay, so I have to use the builder mutation for any queries that are going to create or update some entities. You can see there's a builder.query for reading data and builder mutation for changing data. And then inside the object we have a query, which is a narrow function. So let me do just that. So narrow function, and then I will provide some week data. And let me see. So and then I will return an object. So then I will have to return an object. Now I'm just going to use a slightly different syntax. I like to use arrow functions with the curly brackets. So query, and then we have URL. So the URL now, I already have the API base URL. So this will be my my URL. I will double check here. Build query. So I haven't defined the URL. Oh, okay. The base query is already here, so I don't need the URL. It's just the same. So the base query. This is an additional path. If there's something different from the base query, you add it here. But for me, just the URL is the same. So I don't need the URL. I will have to supply the method, which is going to be post, and then I'm going to just include the body. So the body will be week. Okay, and then we have some TypeScript issues, like the method is string, body is not assignable to, let me just read this. Okay, I have, let me see, I have disabled the hover, so definition, preview, hover. Okay, yeah, that's it. Wait a minute, okay. Can I see this? Okay, I have some settings still, so definition, preview, hover. So, week any, and then method string body is not assignable to type argument. String fetch arguments, type method string body, and is not a type string fetch args. Property is missing but required in type fetch args. Okay, so there's a bit of a problem here. When using the builder mutation, I probably need to supply the URL. It's kind of strange because I just don't need any additional like path here, so I will keep this empty just to make sure TypeScript doesn't complain. Let me quickly check the documentation to see about this. So RTK and then builder mutations. Let me go here. So mutation, we have the URL, the fetch base query. They have like simple slash here, and then post. I'm using the same base URL, so I don't need to add post after that. Maybe we should change our API, but and then let me see quickly, shared mutation, an example. Okay, I'm just going to leave this here. Now this is with mutation, return. Okay, the URL is required. Let me see whether URL not required. Maybe there's an option like to disregard the URL. Not returning back data. Pending URL API. Okay, I was hoping to find something that will show me whether I can just omit the URL, since I'm not having an extra or different path from the API base URL. And then the week. Okay, so I have this create weekly progress, which means that I'm going to be getting a hook back from this createApi, and then this will be use create weekly progress. So for every endpoint, we're getting this these hooks back. And let me see why it's complaining. Property using create weekly progress does not exist on type unknown ever. Okay. Use get. Let me see what's happening. Let me go to the documentation. So they have this build mutation, update post, and use update post mutation. Oh, I believe there's a okay, I believe there's a specific like syntax that should be used, like this endpoint should be prefixed with like update or get or delete. So let me see whether I can use like a custom name, or I have to use like a specific. Okay, so this is the create API. So RTK create API. Let's see the documentation. So endpoints. We can spin. Okay, typically you should only have one API slice per page URL that your application needs to communicate with. For APIs, then you will. Okay, I have one URL for this API call, and then create API, base query, and then let's go to the endpoints. Okay, endpoints are just set of operation. You define them, query and mutation. So base query, mutation. When defining a key like get process, it's important to know that this name will become exportable from API. Okay, this is what I'm looking for, and be able to reference other API endpoint get. But the reference use mutation instead of use query. So use add post mutation API. So they're just endpoints, they're defining the endpoint, and then they're see tag types. Okay, why is it? Let me go back here. So I will just change this to post just to see whether post weekly progress, and then use post. No, it's still complaining. So what am I doing wrong? So endpoints, we have these two, builder query, builder mutation. So let me see. I'll just grab this and see whether Google gives me back a. So I will just remove this custom name and use an asterisk to find maybe more generic. Okay, Stack Overflow, RTK query create API results in property does not exist. So let's see what's happening. Okay, similar problem. Okay, so make sure you import the create API and fetch base query functions. It should be import. Let's see, this is 2023. Let's see what I'm using here. I have create API fetch base query, create API from Redux Toolkit, query React. That's what I'm using. Okay, and then import create query. So create API, Redux Toolkit query React, Redux Toolkit React, yes. Okay. If you're using, also don't forget to add use and query. Use. Let me see what I have used. I am using use. Let's see if I can get rid of this. Will it work? No. Still not getting this. Use post weekly progress. Builder mutation, and then return endpoints. Let's see, I forgot to use mutation in the export. Okay. There's a mutation at the end. Hopefully this. Let me go back to that example. So where's an example? So read the docs, Costas. So add posts. Okay, you have to add this at the end, I guess. So yes, so you use at the beginning and query at the end for simple queries. When you use the build query, you have to use and query at the end, and for mutation you use as a prefix and mutation at the end. So I think that's it. That's what I was missing. So post weekly progress. So use post weekly progress mutation, and hopefully yes. Okay. Let me see though what I was missing. So where is this mentioned here for the auto-generated hook? So let me go back to the start. So type of query endpoints, mutation endpoint definition, use mutation. Okay, unfortunately they do not mention this explicitly, like somewhere like that you have to, I guess, use mutation at the end. I mean, if you happen to spot the pattern in the docs, okay, I will have to search later and see whether createApi. I will maybe also do a pull request on their documentation, because it's easy to miss on this thing. So I will later on upvote this answer. Okay, now it's time to check this hook. So I will go to my app, and then I will import it from here, and now it's defined by never used. Okay, I will use it, don't worry. And then I'm just going to add a function here. So just to simply check it, so update week, and then call that use post weekly mutation, and then const data error is loading. Let's see, and then update week is defined by never used. Okay, I'll have to let me see if I can disable git lens for the moment. So git lens, disable, turn off. Okay, I will just have to disable and reload, and this is what I hate, but hey, it becomes git lens. Okay. Why is this still a thing here? Git lens. Oh, sorry, that was not git lens. That was error lens. Disable reload. Git lens. Let me just. Okay, enable. These things can become annoying. Okay. Now I will just try to use this hook. And I will have this button here. So update week, and then on click equals update week. And now this is complaining all unused. Okay, because they're unused. And then properties that exist. Okay, let me see. Let's just get rid of this right now. See what's going on. React hook is called in function, but it's neither in React component nor React hook function. React components must start with an arrow. The React hook names must start with the word use. Okay. So the hooks should not be executed. Yeah, that's right. React hooks should not be executed within functions. So how am I to use this hook? So update week. Okay, I'm a little bit confused because I need to let the user click or interact and have this hook like update the content through the API. So let me go back here and see an example, or let me go back to my video screenshot. So we have this guy like exporting these hooks, and then inside a component, and then there is this. Okay, so the mutations. Okay, export a function. So this is how you use them. Okay, that's good. So I will go here and say add week equals this hook, and then I'm going to create a button, add, let's say, post week. This is just for simply testing things. So on click, add week, and certainly I need to supply some data on this add week. So let me see, and then add to do. So I need to supply the body, the arguments that the posted data right like this. So I need to go here and say add week and then some data. Now for the data I'm going to use some data from here. So I'm just going to grab this JSON because it already works, so it should probably work also here. Let me post data. So I will just store this JSON in a file and then place it here. Okay, and this is going to be creating, like this API call is generating the progress week 1 day 1. So if I remove this and I call this, it's going to create this file again. So I'm going to be testing this, but right now through the client application. So I'm going to delete this and then try to run the app and click the button, and then of course I will need to get some data back. So let me see whether I can See, there's some tags there. Okay, there's some other things that I'm going to be looking, but I want to make sure that this add to do. Okay, so they're using the name add to do. Okay, I will run this. Let's see if it works. So I will go to my console, open up the client. I have my console opera here, and this is the button. So once again, if everything runs correctly, I should be seeing a new file created here. So the client uses the hook calls the API creates the CSV file on the server, and then I get to see the new file. Let's see if that works. So I get okay, this is strange, but let's see what happened. And indeed, I get the progress here. So it was successful. Let me see what happens if I can just, I don't know, like try to simulate an error, something that's not so let me just, I don't know, add some other strange names. Let me try this again to see what's going to happen here. So post week, okay, you get an error, an internal server error, and nothing is happening here. So this is kind of like a, how can I handle this error? So let me see what's happening on the server. There's nothing wrong at this point. Of course, nothing. Let me delete this. It shouldn't be creating anything, right? So let me just post again. Same error, nothing gets created. Okay, that's fine. Just an empty object here. Now the problem is, or I'm wondering here, how can I actually get back this error in my client code and be able like to do something with the result, like display something on the user interface. So let's see how we handle errors. So createApi, and then let's see if they have an example. Okay, they're creating, they're exporting, and then I don't think they have an example where they're actually making the requests. Flip coin, basic example, okay. I'm not sure whether they have some way to. Okay, so create API RTK exported hooks mutation handle error. Let's see. So let's see, yeah. How can I destructure an error from its RTK query? Yeah, I think that's relevant. Let me go to the answer. You can reference the error from the hook sentence. What you want to do is something like this. So, so update program. Okay. So update program. Let's see this example. So they're using use update program mutation. Okay, so they have this hook, like it's obviously a mutation, and then they're using it here. So there's a submit event close to the click event that I have, and then they're waiting, and then they mention here that you can use this unwrap, so you can wait for that hook, and then you can unwrap, and then you can wrap it in a try-catch, and then it will handle any error. And I'm wondering whether Okay, so let me see if I can make this work. Add week. So on click. So I will create a function. So let me create just a function. So const add handle add week. Let me put the event in case I need it, and then I will just use handle add week and then run this here. And okay, you're complaining. And then I'm going to make this async so I can await, and then I can use try cuts. I will try this without the unwrap. So I'm in the handle add week function and there's an error. So I will just create a function here and then see what happens without the unwrap, see whether we get the error here. So let me go in my app and just click post week. So nothing happens. Okay. And now let me use the unwrap. As you can see, the error is not being caught right here. Otherwise, I would be seeing the error here. So if I put unwrap's a mutation called to provide the raw response error. So if I do this, and then I refresh, and now I get the handler. Okay. Okay, that's cool. This is how unwrap works. So as you can see, I'm okay. Let's sum it up. Like, you create a mutation with the createApi by using by providing an endpoint. Then you use builder mutation, not builder query. You provide the URL, the method, the body. Then you export this using the use prefix and putting mutation at the end. This is very important. And I learned that lesson. And then once you use it, you have to use the hook, call the hook, and destructure if function that is going to actually update the entity, the resource. This is going to actually be calling the API. And then if you want like to handle the response or the error, it's also mentioned that you can handle the response, not just the error. You can use the unwrap. So whenever and wherever you call the add week, you can supply the unwrap, wait for it, and then you can actually like catch the error or I guess the response. So const response. So let me see. So now if I fix this, so if I like make a correct request, I don't have week 1, day 1. Okay, so now hopefully I will also see the response in this way. So let me see. And indeed I get to see the response, the file name that was created, the data that was put inside. Okay, that's cool. And I can see the file. Okay, I'm really happy. I was expecting to work more during this session on the CRUD API, but at least I got the post operation. Hopefully in the next episode I will work on the delete and the put. I hope you learned something. I definitely learned to first of all read the docs carefully, and then also how to handle the mutation operations in Redux Toolkit, and how I can access the response and the error by learning what this unwrap method is actually doing. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know how you think. Bye bye.